Imagine waking up one day and realizing you're not alone in your home. Not because you see shadows or hear strange noises, but because you feel a presence, something that at first doesn't seem to want to harm you, yet its mere existence unsettles you so deeply that no matter how much you try to normalize the situation, your blood runs cold. This is how Obelisk begins, a brand new analog horror series that plunges us into a world where eerie entities lurk in the deepest shadows of a home, turning a familiar space into something utterly incomprehensible. Before we dive in, I want to take a moment to thank everyone who responded to the pinned comment in the last video, and for the incredible support you always give me. Remember, if you'd like to be featured in the next video, make sure to reply to the pinned comment where you'll find this question. What would you do if one of these entities appeared in your home and there was no way to escape? Without further ado, don't forget to leave your precious like and subscribe to help the channel grow and reach more people. Every like is one more coin to escape poverty. If you're unsure what to comment, just type meow in the comments section and I'll give you a heart in return. Comments are incredibly important and help the video a lot, so don't forget to leave yours. Welcome to Obelisk. The first video in the series begins with a person claiming to have made a new friend and inviting the audience to meet them. They explain that this mysterious presence lives in their house and, at that moment, is inside their closet. Pointing the camera at the door, they ask if we can see it, and in the blink of an eye, the strange creature appears inside. However, as soon as it is noticed, the entity vanishes. It seems to dislike being observed. Although the person uses friendly words, their body language betrays something unsettling. At one point, the camera starts trembling in an unnatural way. It's clear that whoever is documenting this is deeply afraid, perhaps acting nonchalantly and calling the entity their friend in an attempt to appease it and prevent the situation from escalating. The scene shifts, and now we see the person watching cartoons on TV. Everything suggests that they are a young child, which would explain why they refer to the entity as their friend. Who hasn't seen a horror movie where the youngest member of the household has an imaginary friend that turns out to be a malevolent presence? The child mentions that sometimes their friend joins them to watch cartoons. However, the entity never appears on camera, and the episode ends without revealing it, only eerie noises echoing from the second floor. The protagonist approaches the stairs, once again asking if we can see it, but due to the darkness, it's impossible to make out anything. In the video's description, only one word appears: pilfer, meaning to steal things of little value. However, in the context of this series, it might imply something more abstract. What if this entity is draining the energy of the person it coexists with? On the other hand, the title of the series itself holds an intriguing meaning. Obelisks have been iconic symbols in various ancient civilizations, particularly in Egypt, where they were believed to serve as a point of connection between the earthly world and the divine. This suggests that, in this analog horror universe, our world has made contact with another dimension, allowing entities like this one to access our reality. Interestingly, some of these creatures resemble the obelisks of enlightenment from Dr. Nowhere, which are based on the same concept. Could there be some inspiration behind this connection? The following video shows footage from inside a house, documenting the presence of a large entity with grotesquely long limbs. Then, the camera moves to the main entrance of the house, where the door is completely open. Outside, another massive being is seen wandering around the area. Seconds later, the image returns to the interior, but the creature we saw earlier has vanished. Alright, This might sound a little crazy, but I have a theory about what could be happening here. Am I the only one who noticed that the creature at the beginning seems to be wearing clothes? That detail raises some suspicions. Interestingly, the next shot shows the front door wide open, followed by the sight of another similar entity outside. Then when we cut back to the interior, the first creature is gone, and a previously closed door is now open. I'm sure many of you can already see where I'm going with this. What we're witnessing here might be what's left of a human before fully transforming into an aberrant creature. Everything in this footage, from its title to the way events unfold, suggests a consciousness gradually fading away, giving way to a beast driven purely by primal instincts. Once the transformation is complete, its instincts lead it outside to explore its surroundings. There's no solid evidence linking this video to the previous one, but what if what we're seeing here is actually the child from the first video? Could it be that the entity they called his friend has turned them into this thing? In the following footage, a father or mother wakes up in the middle of the night after hearing their baby, Abby, crying. However, something feels off. This person is barricaded inside their own room, seemingly trying to protect themselves from an unknown threat. But there's something even more unsettling. That cry, it doesn't sound like a real baby. There's something deeply disturbing about it. And that's because, in reality, it's not their child making that sound. It's clear that the entity, after doing whatever it did to the baby, began imitating her cries to lure the parent in. And it worked, most likely leading to both of their deaths. Who in their right mind would leave their child alone with a supernatural creature lurking around the house? Finally, we've reached the last available footage so far. It all begins with someone claiming to have found an abandoned house in the middle of nowhere. A key detail worth noting is the presence of a massive obelisk in the distance, reinforcing the theory I mentioned earlier. There are no other structures around. Everything is desolate. The protagonist points out that the house has no visible windows or doors. However, after exploring a bit, they find a wooden plank concealing an entrance. Overcome by curiosity, they decide to investigate what lies inside. Crawling along the floor, they move forward slowly until they find an opening large enough to stand up and continue exploring. The interior is an abyss of darkness, illuminated only by the protagonist's flashlight. Eventually, they reach a room where the chairs and table are fixed to the ceiling. The scene is surreal, but what's even stranger isn't what they see. It's their reaction. They don't seem surprised or scared in the slightest. After this, they keep moving forward until they come across an unusually large door, which they decide to open. The image cuts out, and in the next shot, the protagonist appears in a brighter environment, though there are bloodstains on the floor. But once again, they remain unfazed. And then, suddenly, the video makes it clear, they are not alone in the house. Moreover, what seemed to be a simple, abandoned structure is, in reality, an immense space, as if another dimension existed within it, a place that strongly resembles the back rooms. As they continue exploring, the protagonist arrives at a hallway that might look familiar to you. That's right, it's the same hallway we saw in the second video. This confirms that At the very least, the first, second, and fourth episodes are connected. Why the first one as well? Well, we're about to see. In the next room, they find a sign with a Bible verse that reads, "Be still, and know that I am God." Then they move forward until they reach a staircase with a cross on the wall, but the stairs lead nowhere. A little further ahead, they come across a door too high to reach, forcing them to turn back. The monster seems to recognize them, and this is where everything falls into place. What we are witnessing is, quite possibly, the entity identifying the child it once lived with years ago. But that child is no longer a child. Their appearance has changed, which is why, at first, the entity doesn't fully recognize them. With this in mind, my theory about the second video falls apart. And now, more questions arise. Since this all happened in the same house, what exactly are we seeing here? And how did the house end up turning into a labyrinthine, liminal space? I suppose we'll find out in the future. For now, this is all the available content. Alright, that's all for today. If this video gets enough support, I'll bring more videos from this series as new episodes come out. That being said, drop your thoughts in the comments. I love reading them. Also, make sure to follow me on my other social media platforms, where I post exclusive short-form content you won't find on YouTube. And most importantly, a huge shout out to the channel members. Seriously, thank you so much. If you'd like to become a member, just click the join button next to the subscribe button to unlock tons of perks and exclusive emojis while supporting me. If you're interested, join in. I'll be eternally grateful. And remember, this video was made by a cat, and cats can't talk. Thanks for watching, take care, and see you soon.